AITA for kicking my 19-year-old niece out of my house after she tried to discipline my 6-year-old son. She was living here rent-free while going to college. My sister says I'm being cruel and overreacting, but she completely overstepped and made my son cry. I, 34F, am in the middle of a massive family conflict, and I genuinely need outside perspective because half my family is calling me heartless and the other half is saying I did the right thing. Here's the background. I have a 6-year-old son, Leo. He's a great kid, energetic, curious, sometimes a handful like any first grader, but overall a sweet, well-behaved child. My husband Dan, 36M, and I have been raising him with what I think is a good balance of structure and freedom. We have rules, we have consequences, but we also believe in age-appropriate discipline and treating him with respect. My sister Monica, 41F, has a daughter. My niece Ashley, 19F. Ashley just finished her first year at a college about 45 minutes from where I live. Monica and her husband live about 3 hours away in a smaller town, and the commute was killing Ashley during her freshman year. She was driving back and forth, staying in dorms, and it was expensive and exhausting. Last summer, Monica asked if Ashley could live with us during her sophomore year to make college easier. She'd be closer to campus, wouldn't have to pay for dorms, and could save money. Monica offered to pay us $200 a month for Ashley's room and board. Dan and I talked about it. Our house is decent-sized for bedrooms, so we had a spare room. Ashley had always seemed like a responsible kid. We figured it would be nice for Leo to have his older cousin around, and the extra $200 would help with groceries and utilities. We said yes. Ashley moved in at the end of August. For the first few months, everything was fine. She was quiet, kept to herself mostly, went to classes, did her homework. She'd occasionally eat dinner with us, and was polite to Leo. But I started noticing some things that bothered me. Ashley has very rigid ideas about parenting and discipline. She's not a parent herself, but she's studying early childhood education and apparently thinks this makes her an expert on raising children. She'd make comments like, "You let Leo have screen time? Studies show that's really bad for brain development. He should be reading chapter books by now, shouldn't he? You're still cutting his food for him? He's 6, he should be more independent." I learned in my child development class that children need very firm boundaries or they become entitled. At first, I brushed these off as her just being young and overeager about her major. I'd politely say something like, "Thanks for the input, but we have our own parenting style that works for our family." But the comments kept coming, and they were getting more judgmental. Then, about 2 months ago, things escalated. I came home from work one day to find Leo sitting at the kitchen table, crying. Ashley was standing over him, with her arms crossed. "What's going on?" I asked immediately, going to Leo. Ashley said, very matter-of-factly, Leo was being disrespectful, so I put him in timeout. He's been there for 30 minutes. I looked at Leo, whose face was red and tear-stained. 30 minutes? He's 6 years old. Timeouts are supposed to be 1 minute per year of age. And what did he supposedly do? He talked back to me when I told him to put his tablet away. I turned to Leo. "Is that true?" Leo threw tears. I said, "Just 1 more minute please," because I was in the middle of a game. Then she took my tablet and said I was being rude. I looked at Ashley. That's not talking back. That's a reasonable request from a 6-year-old. And you're not his parent. You don't get to discipline him. Ashley looked offended. Someone has to teach him respect. You and Dan are too lenient with him. I was furious but tried to stay calm. Ashley, you're a guest in this house. You're not Leo's parent, not his babysitter, not his authority figure. You don't discipline him. Ever. Is that clear? She rolled her eyes, and said, "Fine. But don't be surprised when he grows up entitled and disrespectful." I let it go, but I told Dan about it that night. He was also upset and said he'd talk to Ashley about boundaries. Dan did talk to her. Ashley apologized and said it wouldn't happen again. For a few weeks, things seemed better. But I'd occasionally come home and Leo would be unusually quiet, or I'd notice Ashley giving him looks when he was playing or being loud. Nothing I could point to specifically, but the vibe was off. Then came last week. I had to work late, a parent-teacher conference that ran over. Dan was on a business trip. Ashley knew I'd be home around 7 p.m. and that Leo would need dinner and help with his bedtime routine. I specifically told Ashley that morning, "I'll be late tonight. Can you please heat up the leftovers in the fridge for Leo around 6? He can watch one show before bed. I'll handle bath and bedtime when I get home." Ashley said, "Sure, no problem." When I got home at 7:15, the house was eerily quiet. I called out for Leo. No answer. I found him in his room, sitting on his bed in the dark. No dinner, no TV, nothing. He'd been crying. "Leo, baby, what's wrong? Did you eat?" He shook his head. "Why not? Where's Ashley?" "She said I couldn't have dinner because I was bad." My heart dropped. "What do you mean you couldn't have dinner? What happened?" Through tears, he told me that when he got home from the neighbor's house, where he plays with a friend after school, Ashley told him to go clean his room before dinner. Leo said his room was already clean. I'd helped him organize it that weekend. But Ashley said it wasn't good enough. Leo tried to explain that he was hungry and wanted to eat first, and Ashley said, "Disrespectful children don't get dinner. You can eat when you learn to do what you're told without arguing." She then sent him to his room and told him he wasn't allowed to come out. He'd been in there for over 2 hours with no food. I was seeing red. I went downstairs and found Ashley in the living room, watching TV and eating pizza she'd ordered for herself. "Ashley, what the hell?" She looked up, unbothered. "Oh, you're home. Is Leo still in his room? You didn't give him dinner." He was being disrespectful. I told him he could eat after he cleaned his room properly and apologized. "He's 6. You withheld food from a 6-year-old for 2 hours because you didn't like his tone." I was teaching him that actions have consequences. You are not his parent. You had one job tonight: heat up leftovers and make sure he was fed. You don't get to withhold food as punishment. That's not discipline. That's abuse. Ashley stood up, now defensive. "It's not abuse, it's parenting. Maybe if you actually disciplined him properly, I wouldn't have to step in." "You don't get to step in. This is my child. You're a teenager with no kids, no real-world experience, living in my house. I'm learning about child development in school. I know what I'm doing." "You know what you're doing. You starved a 6-year-old because he didn't want to clean an already clean room. Get out." "What?" "Get out of my house. Pack your stuff and leave. Tonight." Ashley's face went pale. "You can't be serious." "I am dead serious. You crossed a line. You're not welcome here anymore." She started crying. "Where am I supposed to go?" "Call your mother. Figure it out. But you're not staying here." Ashley ran to her room, called Monica, and within 20 minutes, Monica was calling me, screaming, "How dare you kick out my daughter? She's just a kid. She made a mistake. She withheld food from my son for hours, Monica. That's not a mistake, that's cruel. She was trying to help. You're too soft on Leo, and someone needs to teach him discipline. It's not her place. And withholding food is never appropriate. You're being dramatic. Ashley is family. You can't just throw her out on the street. She's an adult, and I absolutely can remove her from my home when she abuses my child." "It's not abuse. Stop throwing that word around." We went back and forth until I hung up on her. Monica drove the 3 hours to pick Ashley up that night. When she arrived, she wouldn't even look at me. Ashley left crying, saying I'd ruined her life, and she'd have to drop out of school now. Since then, my phone has been blowing up with messages from family members. Monica is telling everyone that I abandoned Ashley over a minor disagreement about parenting styles. She's saying I'm vindictive and cruel, that I was looking for an excuse to kick Ashley out because I didn't want to deal with having her there. Several aunts and cousins have texted saying I overreacted, that Ashley is young and was just trying to help, that I should have given her another chance. My mom's trying to stay neutral but has said maybe I should have cooled down before making such a big decision, that kicking Ashley out immediately was harsh. Even Dan's mom called to say that while Ashley was wrong, family should forgive family, and couldn't we work something out? But Dan is 100% on my side. He's furious about what Ashley did and said she's not welcome back in our house ever. My dad also supports me, saying anyone who withholds food from a child doesn't deserve to be around children. And Leo has been clingy and anxious since that night. He's asked several times if Ashley is coming back, and when I tell him no, he seems relieved. But I'm being made to feel like I'm the villain here. Like I ruined Ashley's college plans over something small. The thing is, this wasn't small to me. This was the third incident of Ashley overstepping. This was her withholding food, a basic need for my child because she decided he deserved punishment. And her complete lack of remorse about it. The way she was casually eating pizza while my son sat upstairs hungry and crying. That's what really got me. But now I'm questioning myself. Was I too harsh? Should I have given her one more chance? Should I have just set stricter boundaries instead of kicking her out entirely? Ashley has been posting on social media about how some people will abandon you when you need them most, and family is supposed to support each other through mistakes. She's getting lots of supportive comments from people who don't know the full story. Monica has apparently told the extended family that Ashley forgot to feed Leo one time and I flew off the handle and kicked her out. She's completely downplaying what actually happened. Some family members are now saying they won't come to Leo's birthday party next month because they don't want to take sides in this conflict. I'm starting to feel like maybe I did overreact. Maybe I should have called Monica that night, explained what happened, and given Ashley a warning instead of immediately kicking her out. But then I think about Leo's tear-stained face, about him sitting in the dark hungry for hours, about Ashley eating pizza downstairs without a care in the world, and I get angry all over again. So Reddit? AITA? Did I overreact by kicking my niece out of my house after she withheld food from my 6-year-old son? Should I have handled this differently? Edit. A lot of people are asking if there were other incidents between the first time-out situation and the food withholding. There were smaller things. Ashley telling Leo he couldn't have snacks I'd left out for him. Ashley making him sit at the table until he finished vegetables, even though we don't force that in our house. Ashley criticizing his homework in front of him. Nothing major enough on its own to kick her out, but a pattern of her acting like she had authority over him. Edit 2. For those asking about the $200 per month, Monica paid the first month, but then kept forgetting to send it. We only got paid for 2 out of the 7 months Ashley lived here. Dan, and I didn't push it because we figured we were helping family. Edit 3. Someone asked if Ashley babysits kids or works with children. Not that I know of. She's studying early childhood education but doesn't have any actual childcare experience beyond her coursework. Update. 3 days later. I wasn't expecting this post to blow up like it did, but thank you all for the validation. Reading these comments helped me realize I wasn't crazy. Something happened that changes everything. Yesterday, Leo was playing with my phone with permission. He was playing a kid's game when he accidentally opened my messaging app. He'd clicked on a text thread, and before I could take the phone back, I saw something that made me freeze. It was a text thread between Ashley and Monica. Somehow, their conversation had synced to my phone. I think because Ashley was using my Wi-Fi and had logged into iMessage on her laptop at some point, and it created some kind of sync issue. I'm not tech-savvy enough to understand exactly how, but basically, I had access to their text conversation. I know I probably shouldn't have read it, but I did. The messages went back months, and they were damning. Here are some examples, paraphrased but accurate. Monica to Ashley, September, remember, you need to observe how they parent Leo. I want to know if there are things we should be concerned about. Ashley to Monica, October, they let him have so much screen time. And they don't make him finish his vegetables. Pretty neglectful, if you ask me. Monica to Ashley, October, keep notes. This might be useful. Ashley to Monica, November, Leo was being a brat today. I put him in timeout, but Opie got mad at me. She's way too soft on him. Monica to Ashley, November, you need to be more subtle. But keep trying to instill some discipline. That boy needs structure. Ashley to Monica, December, I'm trying to enforce rules, but they keep undermining me. It's like they don't want Leo to grow up properly. Monica to Ashley, December, document everything. If they're not disciplining him correctly, someone needs to step in. And then, the most damning message. Monica to Ashley, the day of the food incident, if you see Leo being disrespectful, don't be afraid to really make a point. Sometimes children need to learn that actions have serious consequences. Opie is too soft to do what needs to be done. Someone has to teach that boy discipline before it's too late. Ashley to Monica, that evening, I didn't give him dinner tonight because he wouldn't clean his room. Opie is going to be mad, but he needed to learn. Monica to Ashley. Good. Stand your ground. Children need to understand that disrespect isn't tolerated. And then after I kicked Ashley out. Monica to Ashley. Don't worry about Opie. She's being ridiculous. We'll figure this out. You did nothing wrong. I sat there staring at my phone in absolute shock. This wasn't Ashley overstepping boundaries on her own. This was a planned effort by Monica to have Ashley discipline my son to what? Prove I'm a bad parent? Undermine my authority? Try to take some kind of control over how I raise my child? I screenshot everything and sent it to Dan. He called me immediately, absolutely livid. We decided to send the screenshots to Monica with a simple message. We know what you've been doing. You used your daughter to try to undermine our parenting and document evidence that we're bad parents. This is manipulative, disturbing, and crosses every boundary imaginable. Do not contact us again. Monica's response came within minutes. You went through Ashley's private messages? That's illegal. I'm calling the police. I responded. The messages sync to my phone through your daughter's use of my Wi-Fi and devices. I'm not the one who violated privacy. You're the one who conspired to have your daughter undermine my parenting and withhold food from my child. You're not welcome in our lives anymore. She tried calling multiple times. I didn't answer. Then she sent a long text defending herself. She said she was concerned about Leo's well-being because I'm too permissive as a parent. She said she thought Ashley could provide a good influence and teach Leo proper discipline. She said she never told Ashley to withhold food. Lie. It's right there in the messages, and that I'm twisting her words. She ended with, I'm his aunt. I have a right to be concerned about his upbringing. You're turning this into something it's not. I blocked her number. Since then, several family members have reached out after Monica apparently told them a version of events where I hacked Ashley's phone and invaded her privacy, and then attacked Monica for being a concerned aunt. I sent the screenshots to my parents and to Dan's parents. They were horrified. My mom called Monica and apparently tore into her, saying what she did was psychotic and manipulative beyond belief. My dad is no longer speaking to Monica. Dan's parents have also cut contact with Monica and Ashley. The extended family is now split. Some believe Monica's version where she was just a concerned aunt. Others have seen the screenshots and are appalled. But here's the thing I keep coming back to. Monica was building a case against me. She was having Ashley document and report back on our parenting. She was coaching Ashley to discipline Leo in increasingly harsh ways. What was the end game here? Was she going to try to call CPS? Was she going to try to argue for custody? Was this just about control and proving she knew better than me? I don't know. And honestly, I don't want to know. What I do know is that I'm done. Monica is out of our lives. Ashley is out of our lives. And any family member who thinks what they did was acceptable is also out. Leo has been much happier this week. He's been more relaxed, more playful. He told me yesterday, I'm glad Ashley doesn't live here anymore. She was mean. That broke my heart. My kid was living with someone who was mean to him, who was being coached by her mother to be mean to him, and I didn't fully realize it until it was almost too late. So no, Reddit, I don't think I overreacted. If anything, I didn't react strongly enough to the earlier warning signs. Thank you all for the support and the wake-up call. Final update, 2 weeks later. I'm adding this final update because there's been a resolution of sorts, and I think people who followed this story deserve to know how it ended. Monica and Ashley showed up at my house 3 days ago. Unannounced. Dan was home, thankfully. When he saw them through the doorway camera, he told me not to answer the door. But Monica started ringing the bell repeatedly and yelling through the door that she needed to talk. Dan opened the door, I stayed inside with Leo, and told Monica she needed to leave. Monica, crying, please. I need to apologize. I need to explain. Please just let me talk to her. Dan, you had Ashley spy on our family and coached her to abuse our son. There's nothing to explain. Ashley, also crying, I'm sorry. I didn't realize what I was doing was wrong. Mom said I was helping. Dan, you're 19 years old. You knew withholding food from a child was wrong. You're an adult, not a child who didn't know better. Monica then tried to push past Dan to get into the house. Dan blocked her and told her if she didn't leave, he'd call the police. She finally left, but not before shouting, "You're turning Leo against his own family. You're going to regret this." We filed for a restraining order the next day. We documented the harassment, the text messages, the showing up at our house. The judge granted a temporary restraining order, and we have a hearing in a few weeks for a permanent one. Monica has been calling other family members, trying to get them to intervene. My parents have firmly told her to stop contacting them about this. Dan's parents did the same. We also consulted with a family lawyer about whether we needed to worry about Monica trying to make false CPS reports or attempting to claim grandparents' rights. She's not Leo's grandmother, but she's been telling people she raised him like a grandson, which is absolutely false. She saw him maybe twice a year. The lawyer said Monica has no legal standing for any custody or visitation claims, but advised us to document everything in case she does try to involve CPS. We've started a detailed log of all interactions and all evidence of her manipulation. As for Ashley, I did feel a bit bad for her after reading some comments suggesting she might be a victim of Monica's manipulation too. She's young and Monica is clearly controlling. But then I remembered, Ashley is in college studying child development. She's being educated on what's appropriate and inappropriate when working with children. She knew better. And even if Monica was coaching her, Ashley made her own choices. She could have refused. She could have told me what Monica was asking her to do. She could have stood up for Leo. She didn't. She chose to go along with it, and even seemed to enjoy the power trip of disciplining him. So while I feel sorry for her for having Monica as a mother, I don't excuse her actions. She's an adult, and she made adult choices. Leo is doing great. We had a long, age-appropriate conversation with him about what happened. We told him that Ashley was wrong to treat him the way she did, that no one is allowed to be mean to him or withhold food from him, and that if anyone ever makes him feel scared or unsafe, he should tell us immediately. He said, "I know. You and Daddy keep me safe." Yeah, I cried. We've also started him in play therapy just to process everything and make sure there's no lasting impact from having lived with someone who is being coached to mistreat him. His therapist said he's doing remarkably well and shows no signs of trauma, but will continue sessions for a few more weeks just to be safe.